Hey, good morning. It's 7:03 on this Wednesday, June 10th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. It is a Wednesday morning, and glad to have you with us here on this Wednesday. We are actually glad to have live in studio with us today Bob McDonald to talk about Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. Bob, good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you?
Oh, doing great.
I was
great
noticing,
to be with you.
We talked about your workout the other day. We had an extra minute or two, and I was just noticing today, I think you look even trimmer than you have been looking.
Well, you don't have to say that. You know I'm going to keep coming back and keep paying our monthly rate. I know what you're doing.
Bob is president and CEO of Cedar Stone Bank, and has been that ever since the bank began. And you've got a good track record, I think.
Well, we opened in April of 2004. Is that 16 years? It's a long time ago, wasn't it?
Well, it's a good while.
And you were a big part of that. You came to our branches when we were selling stock, and I think we did live and remote from one of our locations. And then shortly after we opened, we did the same thing, and you interviewed people. And so you've been with us from the beginning, and we are thankful for that. And you remain a very important part of what we do every day.
Well, appreciate that, but we're always glad to have you to talk with you on Wednesday morning about what is happening. And one of there are a number of unique things about Cedar Stone Bank, but one is that all three branches are on Highway 70, Donaldson, Mount Juliet, Lebanon.
Yeah.
They all three offices look similarly.
They do. They do. We were. We really enjoy our locations. They work well for us. We call it the Highway 70 corridor from Lebanon all the way into Nashville to the Donaldson community, and of course Mount Juliet in the middle. Mike Manis was our architect, and he designed our buildings and their look, and we asked him that we wanted it to be unique and be different, and it somehow reflect physically our name, and he did a great job with that, with stone and nice woodwork inside. Dillon Cabinet Company, Danny did a great job with all of our woodwork in all of our locations.
Well, let's talk about the present time here. You've been social distancing some, and we not only said simple banking, simply better, but simple social distancing.
Yep.
But I think that you've relaxed things a little bit. People are coming in more now. Tell us about it.
Yeah, good thing to talk about. We did on March 20, I believe, close our lobbies. Now we were still functional. So people could still do it, use a drive-through. People could come in if they needed to sign something or access their safe deposit box or get a notary or something. So we were always fully functional during that time and fully staffed. And we opened our lobbies back up on May 4. And we are social distancing. We have mats on the floor with our logo that kind of encourages folks to keep their distance. And we have shields up at our teller windows and at our CSR desk. Danny Dillon, again, did a nice job at designing those for us. Looks really nice.
Good.
And we'll be doing that for quite some time. Coleman, I think this whole COVID-19 will have lasting impacts on us as a society. I think we're going to see social distancing in some form or fashion for years to come, and which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just good public health. But I can tell you that we very much are heading the right direction in terms of getting back into society and back into the economy. You see traffic really picking up on the roads. We talked about this last week, Coleman. You're seeing construction vehicles on the road. But, we understand public health, but we've got to balance that out with economics and with psychology. I mean, Susan's mother lives over in a retirement community, and they've been quarantined. I mean, she can't see anybody, hasn't seen anybody in 2 months. They don't let them out of their room. And she's 87 years old, and Susan can only see her for certain reasons. And, she's lonely, and there's hundreds of people over there just like her. And so we've got to get back to where public health doesn't just mean the physical side, but the mental side of it as well. And we can't let it outweigh economics, because we've got businesses that are really struggling, but we're seeing them start to fight their way back.
Well, a couple of things here in closing this morning. I noticed not that it is all in all, but the Dow has things have been looking good on the stock market.
Yep. Stock market's had a great week. Reset a little bit last week, but still overall a very good year. Made up almost everything we've lost prior to the COVID-19, but things are heading the right direction. We're opening a lot of checking accounts. That Simply Free checking account everybody needs at Coleman. Free online banking with bill pay, free checks. You can use an ATM anywhere in the world, and it's free. So
you really got a good thing going there, and I think you may have even for those others who may have free checking. I think you've got some things they don't have.
Well, we enjoy it, and we think it's important. It's the backbone of our company, and a lot of folks come open them up because to hear you and me talk about it. And
that's right. Get that relationship started.
That's right. Get it going, and I'll leave at that. You've got a big program. An institution very near and dear to Susan and my heart, so I can't wait to hear it on the way back to the office.
Well, thanks for being with us today, as always. Bob McDonald, he is President, Chief Executive Officer, Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, simply better. Well, today is the Wednesday that we feature Cumberland University. Rusty Richardson is here. Rusty is always responsible for bringing the guests and bringing me a little sheet of paper to tell me what I'm supposed to talk about. Well, it helps anyway. We deviate a little bit every once in a while. But Rusty, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It's good to see you, and it's good to see the ones that you brought here, especially one you're going to introduce here in just a moment. But you've been okay? Everything fine?
Everything's fine. It's been a busy time for us, although things have changed for us just like everybody. Normally during this month, the month of June, we'd be talking about certain things that happen every year. We'd be talking about the graduation that already went on, and we'd be talking about the Phoenix Ball that would have been originally last weekend. We did postpone that originally to August 1st, and now we've made the decision to cancel that until next year. We'd be talking about Symphony on the Lawn that would be coming up any day now. That's been canceled until next year. So like a lot of things, our society has changed, at least for this part of the calendar, of what we would normally be talking about.
But everything hasn't changed. There may be some changes, but school is going to start again.
Yeah, school is going to start again, and my two guests are going to talk about that. We do have two other things that are coming up. We do have our nurse pinning ceremony, which is a big deal for our graduating nursing students. That's going to be a drive-through parade on June the 19th. There at McLean Circle, there on campus. Mm-hmm. And then the very next day, June 20th, we'll have a graduation ceremony for our graduating seniors. That was originally delayed from early May until June 20th. It is going to be different this year because only the graduates are going to participate. And we know many family members are disappointed about that. But to socially distance properly, we thought that was the only way we could legitimately do that and give the graduates the ceremony they deserved. Mm-hmm. It will be live streamed on our website and on computers so people can watch it, but it will be for graduates only.
Okay. Well, glad to get the word out about that, but at least you are having a graduation.
Yes, we are.
Anything else you want to tell us?
Well, I'm ready to introduce my two guests. Right. One is a repeat guest, Dr. Bill McKee, who's been here. I won't venture to say how many times he's been here over the years, but quite a few. Your relationship with him goes way back.
Yes.
And our another guest is a first-timer, Dr. Ron Ford. He is new to the university, and he is special advisor to the president and also a visiting professor. And together they are co-chairing what we call the CROP Committee, which is a campus reopening planning team. Mm-hmm. And they have a lot to talk about this morning.
Well, first of all, Dr. McKee, good morning and welcome to our program.
Well, thank you, Coleman. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Well, it is sure nice to see you, and I tell you, you're looking dapper this morning. How's that?
Well, thank you. I think you need your eyes checked, but that's okay.
Well, one of them maybe. The other one's pretty good.
Well, the one looking at me.
Oh, Dr. Ron Ford, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
So you're fairly new to Cumberland?
I am.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, if you've got a second here.
Born and raised in Tennessee, and have known Dr. Stone for decades. We worked together many times and are close friends. He comes from, as you well know, he comes from a wonderful family whom I hold very dear to my heart. And when I quote retired a year or so ago and moved back to this area, he said, we sure could use you over here at Cumberland. So I'm delighted to have a chance to work with Dr. Stum, Dr. McKee, and the amazing staff at Cumberland.
Well, other than the crop team that you're on here, what are you doing or are going to be doing?
There are a number of projects that are important to the university and to its president, so I've got a long list of tasks to accomplish, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Well, I think Rusty's already alluded to this, but are students coming back to campus this fall?
Absolutely. We're excited about it. It'll look different because of social distancing. But let me start by saying, what is our primary thing that we must keep in mind when students come back? And that's the safety of our students and our faculty and our staff. Mm-hmm. So everything that we're doing in planning to return for the fall semester, that's the overlying thing. That's the prism from which we look at every event that we're going to try to do. So,
well, I'm just thinking here, Dr. McKee, you've been around for a long time at Cumberland, and Dr. Ford, you've just joined. So there's at least, for some, in some ways, two different perspectives here. Yours just coming in and kind of getting acclimated, I guess, and Dr. McKee knows everything, right?
He does, and everyone.
Oh, we
have you, fool, Coleman.
we appreciate you. I don't want to blow too much smoke here, but you've done a good job. Longevity counts too. We're ready to take a break. Let's do that. We come back. We'll talk more with our guests here, Dr. Bill McKee, Dr. Ron Ford, and Rusty Richardson from Cumberland University. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, regular oil change $24.95, up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, and they'll pick up and deliver your vehicle back to you absolutely free. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Finally looking better. 24 westbound, passing Harding Place from that earlier crash that slowed it down. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of traffic flow here coming out of Rutherford County, Murfreesboro on 24 West, headed towards Nashville. A wreck, 1500 Woodland Street, getting some attention in East Nashville. It may have some injuries. Vote for Dr. Byron Bush, Republican for U.S. Senate. Why? Because it matters. Log on today, bushforsenate.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance? No problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Coleman and Company, we welcome you if you're just joining us, and if you've been with us all along, thank you. We hope you'll be with us throughout the hour and really all day with all the real country music played here. But our show is a little break from the music, and we've been doing this from the very start, 26 plus years, and we've had Cumberland on here on this particular Wednesday of the month for quite a while now, and thanks to Rusty. Rusty, you are due some accolades for making us have a real good time on this.
Well, thanks, Coleman.
Wednesday. I hope Dr. Stum appreciates you as much as I do what you do to really get the word out about Cumberland. Because we disseminate a lot of information about the university here.
There's always lots of good news about Cumberland.
All right, again, Dr. Bill McKee, who is Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Ron Ford, Special Advisor to the President and Visiting Professor. They are here representing the crop team, and the crop team has to do with the campus reopening planning team. Now, we established before the break here, students will be coming back to campus, be a little bit different. Let's talk about the crop team planning process. Dr. Ford.
Thank you, Coleman. We've assembled a cross-functional team from campus of leaders, and they're focused on a number of facets simultaneously. Needless to say, something like this is complex, and first and foremost, as Dr. McKee said, is the health and safety of our students, faculty, and staff. We're looking at the ways in which we deliver our academics in the classroom and beyond. We're looking at the academic calendar. We're looking at, of course, at social distancing and how we accomplish that in the classroom and around campus. We're looking at the residence halls and how we can best keep people safe as possible there, and in common areas like the cafeteria and lounges. Of course, athletics, and as Dr. McKee said, not only are students reporting back, but our student athletes, of course, are reporting back and eager to start playing ball again, and just generally student life and how students are going to interact.
Well, have you made pretty much final decisions in all of these categories here? You pretty much know what it's going to be, what you are going to do, what you're not going to do?
No.
No.
We're in the process of looking at a number of different models. We're looking at how we would deliver the curriculum differently. For example, will it be partially in class, partially online? Will we be able to focus the students in their learning objectives by doing some different things? So I think most of this will come together in the next couple of weeks. The crop team has a goal of having everything in place the end of this month. Now, I will also say that's a scary date for us as we sit around the table thinking about and talking about the various things that we have to do. But our goal is to be able to share exactly what school will look like at the end of this month.
Well, there's some government regulations, some edicts, whatever you want to call it, regulations passed down, some by the president, some by the governor. A lot of people have whatever Governor Lee has suggested has kind of been their command. I guess all this has got to be taken into consideration.
Right, and it's not just that, it's the CDC, the health department.
Okay.
So there are all these various agencies that have ideas and suggestions, most of which do not conflict one with the other. But it's taking that and then applying those things to our institution. And that's the thing that we really have to do, is to take the big picture and narrow it down to determine what we're going to do. And then let me just say one other thing. It's in athletics, it's what the NAIA says that we need to do. So there are agencies beyond governmental agencies that will impact how Cumberland looks in the fall. So what does our football season look like? What does our basketball season look like?
And I'm thinking too, I mean, although Cumberland has grown significantly in the last 2 or 3 years, and you have a lot more than at one time, still it's a relatively small school. You're talking about maybe 3,500 or so.
Well, last year we started with 2,550, and we should be above that number this fall.
Okay, all right. 2,500 to 3,000 people is a lot different from 10 or 15,000 at one of the big universities. And I think all that's got to be taken into consideration too, right?
That's exactly right. And while the school is smaller than some really large campuses, it is almost by definition more intimate as well. Our students and faculty have a low faculty student ratio. We interact with each other on a regular basis. It's part of our culture and part of our mission to be close to our students, and so and they're close to each other. So in that sense of community, we have to practice good safety.
Right, and you want it to be as comfortable as possible for the students. I mean, you don't want to totally upset campus life and turn them off where they don't even enjoy the Cumberland experience. I'm sure you agree with that, Dr.
Well, absolutely. And the piece of that that's so important to us is that the students have wonderful relationships one with the other. Mm-hmm. And they also have faculty relationships, and the faculty have relationships with each other. And that's really one of the things that provide the spirit of Cumberland University. And we're working very hard on the crop team to maintain that spirit. And that's very, very important for us.
All right, let me ask this. Has the pandemic created opportunities for improvements as far as Cumberland is concerned?
I think so. And of course, while our hearts go out to those who, all of us, those in particular who have gotten ill or passed as a result of this tragic pandemic, as an academic institution, it's incumbent upon us to look at situations like this as learning opportunities and teaching opportunities. And one of the things that that we've realized is that the ability to be agile in this dynamic environment is so critical, because regardless of how much planning we do in the crop team and how safe we intend for things to be, things are going to change. And that we cannot anticipate. And we think that students in particular, all of us, and students in particular, have the opportunity to learn something from this, and that is how to be flexible, how to be agile, how to sort of roll with the punches. So what you may find yourself having lunch in your car, or having to go to a different location, or having to experience life in some different way, something that might have ordinarily been frustrating with you in life. You have to learn how to roll with those things. And I think the faculty and staff, Dr. Stum, Dr. McKee, and others are demonstrating and will be teaching our students more about about agility. That's our watchword for the university in this coming year.
Agility. I hadn't heard that used lately. I think that's a good expression here. I'm wondering too. We mentioned the crop team, and we were talking to you two. You have others that are with. How many composes this, or is it just you two?
No, our Dean of Students, Stephanie Davis, is a part of the crop team. Our athletic director, Ron Pavin. Mm-hmm. Our three academic deans, Dr. Eric Cummings, Dr. Mary Beth Griffith, and Dr. Chris Fuller, are part of the team.
Matt Espenshade.
Matt Espenshade is our faculty representative on that. And Matt's
good cross section there.
Absolutely. Yes. And Matt, before he came to Cumberland, was the supervisory special agent for the FBI for the Middle Tennessee area. So he has a tremendous amount of experience in terms of taking situations and looking at them, and developing a plan for them.
Well, we reviewed, Dr. Ford reviewed the issues that are I said he should go. We should say he went over the ones you're reviewing. I should put it that way. But there's a lot of different things to consider here, obviously. And what I'm wondering, you said you hope to have this done in a couple of weeks, at least by the 1st of July. How close are you? Is there still an awful lot to be done in these areas? Are you halfway there?
We don't know.
Okay.
Each meeting, we look at specific areas. Sometimes we leave the meeting with more questions than answers. But it's a process. And by thinking through that process and looking at the alternatives, we feel like we're becoming, we're getting closer. We're becoming more, I think, personally secure with what we're trying to do.
Well, we've got a couple of upcoming events we want to talk about in the very end here, and got about 3 more minutes. But to kind of summarize here, students will be coming back to campus this year. The crop team is planning the process, and in a couple of weeks, hopefully, you're going to be getting word out on what you have decided, procedures that will be in place, and there will be some changes. It will be a little bit different because of the social distancing and trying to be safe and keep everybody that way.
That's true. And one other thing I want to say is for the people in this community who may have thought, well, I'd like to go away to school. I wonder if, as they rethink that, do I really want to go away? Do I really, during the pandemic, do I really want to go away this year, or do I want to delay that a year? I would encourage them to look at Cumberland, because we're a hometown alternative. And I think it's important that we share that we are welcoming our local students to be with us in the fall.
All right, I want to thank both of you for being with us today, Dr. Bill McKee and Dr. Ron Ford. But now, Rusty, we usually let you have the last word, and today's not going to be any exception. A couple of events here to remind people of.
Couple of events, although we did make the decision for safety reasons to cancel this year's Phoenix Ball, we are still going to do the auction that's normally associated with Phoenix Ball, and it will all be online. It'll become live in about a week. And then run through the middle part of July, because a lot of the auction items have already been collected for this year, and some of them have expiration dates.
Could not postpone that.
Could not postpone that, so we are going to be doing a a virtual auction online. So
You've never done this before either, have you?
well, it's been online before leading up to the ball,
Okay.
but then it's actually occurred at the ball. So this year is going to be a bit different for us. So we're excited about that. It has some great auction items, and that team, led by Ray and Stephanie Hubner and Lindsey Smith, have just done a great job. Eddie Lovin's also been a big part of that.
Well, you always have and usually there's one or two really great things.
There's usually several live items. Last year there was a car that was involved. There were some really nice items, so people should just watch the website for more information about that.
Online.
It will all be 100% online.
And the
So-
highest bidder gets the prize.
Absolutely,
All right.
but some great prizes, some things people will be interested in. The other thing is we are proceeding with the Patrons Party, which is associated with the ball, much less formal event. That's going to be on July 11th. The reason we decided to proceed with that is, one, it's a much smaller number than the ball. It's not 500 people like the ball is. And it's going to be mostly outdoors at the home of Lynette and Denise Moore. So we're very excited about that. We are completely sold out on that event, so if people haven't got their tickets yet, I'm afraid they'll have to wait till next year. But that's just shows the demand for that type of event.
Okay, our time is up, but thank you so much, Rusty Richardson, Executive Director of Community Relations, External Affairs, Dr. C. William Bill McKee, Provost Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Ron Ford. First time for you, Dr. Ford. Thank you for being with us.
Real pleasure.
Special Advisor to the President and Visiting Professor. So that's it for Cumberland today. We'll see you next month, Rusty, and we hope you'll stay tuned for more here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And to 731, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's starting to get busy here on 65 southbound at Trinity Lane as we look at it live, watching that traffic flow come down through East Nashville. Also on Ellington Parkway, working your way down from the top to the bottom. There's been an accident with injuries, 2000 block in Nashboro Boulevard over in Una, Antioch. The fire department's been dispatched to that location. Vote for Dr. Byron Bush, Republican for U.S. Senate. Why? Because it matters. Log on to bushforsenate.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The Pavilion Senior Living residents are inviting you to become their new neighbor. If you're looking for a sign to move, call us at 444-5556 to learn more about the details. Or go to thepavilionseniorliving.com for more information. Or better yet, just drop by 1408 Medical Center Drive, right behind Tenova Hospital, and see for yourself. You should move here.
This is Bob McDonough with Cedar Stone Bank. We know there are times when financial circumstances can be complicated for families and businesses, but we do not believe the solutions need to be. That's why for 15 years we've been delivering simple banking to our customers while still offering all services and products. We're thankful for our customers and the communities that we serve. If you don't bank with us, it would be our pleasure to visit with you and talk about how simple banking is simply better.
Cedar Stone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Philip Etherly with Absolute Rental and Supply. Whether it's cleaning, painting, remodeling, or simply getting better organized, we have the tools and equipment to get the job done. Scaffolding, paint sprayers, ladders, power saws, portable heaters, temporary lighting, generators, hardwood floor staplers, from wallpaper steamers to bulldozers, Absolute Rental has what you need. Call 615-443-RENT. Absolute Rental and Supply. We have what you need.
Today we'll have a mix of sun and clouds with just a slight chance of a pop-up shower. Temperatures today will top out in the mid-80s. Thursday is going to feel great. We'll have low humidity, sunny skies, and highs in the low 80s. On Friday, more sunshine is in the forecast. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty. Professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Nice conversation. Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Part 2 here on a Wednesday morning. And Philip Etherly joins us as always to talk about Absolute Rental and Supply. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And how are you?
We are blessed. Extremely busy, extremely blessed.
We've, I thought we might even be entering a dry spell, but it was dry for 2 or 3 days. We've had some more rain. We've had we've had rain in due season for the last couple of weeks here. My garden and the sun that's come out, it is really looking good now.
Yeah, we've had good amounts of weather and heat, so things are really coming along. I know the hay crop's been good for everybody. We've been extremely busy in the dealership with hay equipment and selling hay equipment, so it's a good season.
Well, of course, Absolute Rental and Supply rents everything from wallpaper steamers to bulldozers, and you can go to their website, see what's available, but then you call Philip or one of his steady eddies. You got
Associates, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Associates, 615-443-RENT, RENT, and that's the way it works. But this has worked really well for you, and now you're celebrating 19 years this month.
Yeah, this month will be 19 years in business, so we're very proud of that.
Yeah. Well, you've come a long way during that time, but I think you probably the way you do things has not changed that much. You're there to serve the people and make a living for your employees, and it seems to have worked really well.
It really has, and I think, like I say, the key I tell every new employee that we hire is, we are a service company. We're here to take care of the customer, and along with that, we're wanting to make sure that the equipment is the right piece of equipment for what they're doing, and make sure that they get their job done efficiently, and our equipment doesn't get damaged doing it. And so we do ask a lot of questions, and it seems to work really well. And and then the related supplies deal. I was having a conversation with a gentleman this morning. This morning at 7 o'clock, I'm already selling a concrete sealer. Everybody's wanting to get out there and get that done. But we really tried to have the retailer inventory that goes with the rental equipment.
Yeah.
And therefore they can just make it one stop, and it has worked really well.
Well, and that's something a lot of people are probably doing now, getting those pressure washers. And if you've got a concrete driveway or other places that where you would use that, then you need a sealer, and you've got the sealer right there. And if you don't, if you just go use that and don't put the sealer on, well, I'll do that later. Later it's going to be next year and then next year. And
exactly. Yeah, you've messed up if you put the sealer on before you clean. That's a big part. And I always tell people it's just like a wax job on a car. It really does make that much difference in the appearance and the longevity of your concrete.
What else is popular right now?
Right now, all our dirt moving equipment, the skid steers, the backhoes, the mini excavators, and all that stuff are really popular. Like I say, the mulch, we're still selling a lot of mulch. We had a great mulch and pine straw season this year. A lot of time, most of that's already done, but we're still selling a lot of that product. So just everybody's still trying to get it expressed in. And I think we talked a little bit last week. I like this time of the season when it's not sporadic. We've having some more consistent weather, and that way everybody can get their jobs kind of more scheduled.
Well, again, your website, absoluterental.com, and just about anything you've got to rent is there, isn't it?
Yeah, everything in our inventory is on the website.
And I believe the price is included there.
The price, the rental times, the half day of the day, and the rates for those. Like we've talked before, do call and make a reservation. You can't do that online just for the fact that it's happening so fast all the time.
And then that's for the good of everybody.
It really is.
Yeah. 615-443-RENT. Well, if summer vacation time is approaching here. How do you handle that? We've never talked about that. You do give a vacation to your employees.
Yeah, they get vacations, but not right now. We try to do that more, and later in the summer people will take off and all that. But as far as our customer base, the summer vacation, especially this year with all the schools being in a situation, I don't anticipate seeing a difference. All of a sudden everybody's out of school type deal. So, we just like a good steady flow.
Yeah. Well, we should mention your location before you go. 1325 West Main in Lebanon. You've got some big signs. Really two businesses in one location there, but they are two separate businesses.
Very much so, yes. We run that way. Our big sign got damaged during with that straight line wind, so we've people see it and it looks bad. It's up there flopping and all. We are in the process of getting that repaired, but anyway, it did get damaged during the storm. So anyway.
Well, we'll let everybody know that you haven't forgotten.
Yeah, it's not like I'm not paying attention to it. It takes 4 to 6 weeks, I believe.
All right. Well, they're there to serve you and convenience hours too. Let's mention that as you go here, 7 a.m. to
6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 7 to 4 on Saturdays.
And again, the phone number 615-443-RENT for Absolute Rental and Supply right here in Lebanon, Tennessee. Philip, thanks so much. Have a great week. See you next week.
All right, thank you.
Okay, right now we are 21 and a half minutes before the hour, and I told you last Thursday we had started our interviews with political candidates. We've had a couple of candidates for circuit judge on, and believe it or not, we've got 13 school board candidates to meet in the next 3 weeks here, three and a half weeks. And 11 of those 13 are running for the Wilson County Board of Education seats, school zone seats, and 2 for the Lebanon Special School District. And this morning, we want to welcome Jamie Farrow, who's running for the seat of Zone 7. And she's here and already said she's a little nervous, but well, welcome to our program.
Good morning, Coleman.
We're glad to have you with us today. And
I'm glad to be here.
we'd like to know a little bit about you, as much as you would like to tell us, maybe how long you've been here, just a lot about yourself, your life, your family, whatever.
Sure.
You'd like to tell.
I'm from Wilson County. I've lived here my whole life. I'm a 1999 graduate of Mount Juliet High School. I'm an RN. I have a bachelor's degree. I have a case manager certification. That's what I do currently. I work as a certified case manager with the geriatric and disabled population. I have 2 girls that are currently in the Wilson County School District. I've been married for 13 years. My anniversary was actually Monday. So, thank you. Let's see, what else can I tell you?
Well, what about as your education? You said you're from Mount Juliet. Where'd you go to school?
Well, I actually went to West Elementary, Mount Juliet Junior High, which was West Wilson Middle School, and then Mount Juliet High School, which is kind of interesting because my girls have gone to the same schools. And so then I went to Ball State and TSU is where I graduated nursing school. And then I went back and got my bachelor's from Western Governors. So,
okay, so you are you're a native Wilson Countian.
Yes, sir.
Went through the school system here. You're married, have children. You seem to have a lot on your plate already. Why do you want to represent on the school board?
Well, I've actually already been going to the school board meetings for the past 2 years. And so my husband and I actually prayed through this, and is this something that I want to do? Because I do have a pretty full plate. I feel like Zone 7 needs an advocate, and that's kind of the cornerstone of nursing and cornerstone of case management. And I don't really feel like there's a good voice speaking up for parents and students and teachers in our zone. I actually have noticed that within the county, a lot of people don't even know that the 109 area is part of Wilson County. They think it's part of Sumner County. So I feel like sometimes, well, I'll just say it, parents feel like they are discouraged from participating from a higher level. Teachers don't feel like they can speak up. They feel like they're reprimanded if they speak up. The voting pattern votes against what parents and teachers want. For example, the survey with the calendar, that was a very clear representation. They sent out a survey. Here's, an overwhelming number of parents that wanted to keep the fall break, an overwhelming number of teachers, and they voted to get rid of the fall break, including our current Zone 7 representative. So I feel like we need more open communication, more transparency, and somebody to really speak up for what people want. And so I'm willing to be that advocate. I don't really shy away from that. I'm already an advocate for the 109 area. I run a page on Facebook, Fix State Route 109. So we had kept asking for 109 to be widened. And after we kept being told that that wasn't funded, we started a page about 4 years ago, or I started a page about 4 years ago and communicated with TDOT. And so we see 109 being widened. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping to do with the school board.
Do you feel you have quite a bit of support in your zone? That you've been greatly encouraged?
I really do. I really do. Having grown up here, I think people know me, and having girls in the school system, and talking to so many parents, I've gotten lots of private messages, encouraging me. And even before I decided to run, this was not a split decision for me to run. This is something that I have really thought about over the past couple of years. I'll be honest, it started out of frustration 2 years ago. But I wouldn't run purely out of frustration. It took a lot of thought to decide to do something like this. So, even 2 years ago, though, people knew how involved I was and would ask me questions because I'm not a politician. I have no desire to be a politician. I have no higher desire to go into any other office. So they knew that they would get a straight answer from me when they messaged me.
Well, you're mentioning this issue here about school calendar. Is that one of the big things that has pushed you into this?
The calendar is just a symptom. I'm not going into the school board to try to rectify the calendar. I'm going into the school board or running for school board to represent a voice for parents and teachers and students. Like I said, the calendar is just a symptom because it's just a clear picture.
If I get your drift here, it seems to me you are dissatisfied with that parents especially have not been not really had a voice, not been listened to, or maybe
not just parents. I have teachers message me on a regular basis that are afraid to speak up about things that they see. And on a regular basis, if you go to the board meetings, we have voted away things that keep our teachers. It's really important to retain experienced teachers. Obviously, we don't pay as well as some of our surrounding districts. We hope to get there, but we don't. But you don't always have to pay the best to keep somebody. Sometimes your benefits can keep them. And I don't mean insurance. I mean things like our TLC program was a benefit when it started. Being able to choose where your child went to school, things along those lines. And slowly we have voted away each of those benefits that has kept our teachers. So these are things that didn't really...
Do you feel like you can change this? Or
I do. Another thing that more recently, our policies, our school board not following our policies. Our school board sets our policies. There's no reason, if they're the ones that write our policies, that our teachers and our students are held accountable to. If our school board writes the policies, follow your policies. More recently, there's been a rash of policies that our school board has given control to the superintendent, whoever that might be. They have turned it over into a procedure. So the school board has given away their voice in those policies to the superintendent. So I would like to see in the future those policies reevaluated and some voice given back to the board. Because as it is right now, whoever's on the board has no voice in things like the attendance and the calendar, certain special ed things. They have to appeal directly to the superintendent. So if you have an IEP or a 504 issue, you can't appeal to the board. You appeal to the superintendent. So that's not okay. You have a board for a reason. And I think that the board needs to have an issue in that or a vote in that.
All right. My guest this morning, Jamie Farrell, is a candidate for School Board Zone 7. We're going to take a break right here and more coming up on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:49. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota and Rental. They have Red Max, complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. Traffic still holding up right now as far as really bad interstate accidents, at least at the moment, as they wrap up this crash with injuries from earlier. 2000 block at Nashboro Boulevard there in South Nashville, the Una Antioch area. Traffic still looking good, holding up there. 65 as you come up through Brentwood, Franklin, through Williamson County. Dr. Byron Bush is the only Republican candidate for U.S. Senate with a proven record for fighting for conservative values. Log on today, bushforsenate.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Since they retired, one couple has ridden every wooden roller coaster in America. What are your goals for the future? Your Waypoint financial professional can help you develop a financial plan to get there. Waypoint, your future, your way. Call your Waypoint financial professionals, Bill Bryson, David Gordon, Tracy Hay, and Tony Helton at 615-444-6548 or log on to axaonline.com. Financial planning services provided by AXA Advisors, LLC. Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. My guest, Jamie Farrow, candidate for School Board Zone 7. Well, you've expressed your opinion while you're running here this morning, and there's some other issues I'm sure you want to bring up. What about school budget? There are things on that you'd like to talk about.
So the school budget, I don't really feel like with this last budget much was solved, and I want to say that I'm thankful that none of our teachers or EAs were let go, and I'm thankful there was a solution found for the adult high school. But next year, the budget is going to be, I don't even know the words for it. I think that year after year, we have just not made any adjustments, and we've kind of lost trust with the county commission. And so we're going to have to look at some hard cuts, but I will never vote for a budget that cuts the front lines first. I think that we need to take a hard look at a travel freeze, getting rid of any bonuses, no new created positions. We need to look at all the coaches that we hire, as in educational coaches. I've heard it said that they're not always writing the curriculum, that the teachers are still writing the curriculum. So if teachers are writing the curriculum, then why do we need the coaches? And that's not something I've investigated fully, so I don't want to offend anybody, but that's something I would like to look at. Is everybody in central office essential? That's something I would like to investigate more, because that's a lot of money going into central office. Corporate America right now has had a 20% to 40% pay cut right off the top, but it seems like the school district hasn't looked at that. Something else I noticed, we just cut 41 positions. Thankfully, it was not open positions. We had to take our high school to an AB schedule, but last night at the school board meeting, it appears that we found the money to give merit pay to our assistant principals and again increase our new hire pay for teachers after we had to raise the sales tax for our existing teachers after we raised the new hire pay again. So I feel like we really need to value our experienced teachers. Experience matters.
Well, let me throw this out here. The school board hires the director of schools, and your opinion maybe on how active, how involved the authority, if you will, for the school board and the relationship with the director of schools.
I'm sorry, will you clarify?
All right. Well, you entrust the director of schools to do a job. The director of school does answer, of course, to the 7-member Board of Education.
Yes.
But at what point does the board dictate to it, or does the board dictate to the director of schools? Well, you hire them to do a job. If you don't like the way they are doing, I guess you speak up. But I wish you'd express your feelings on that a little bit.
Well, her scope is within the day-to-day running of the school. And obviously, like I mentioned earlier, the procedures that the board has given to her. And I don't feel like they ever really speak up to her. I feel like, if anything, I'll just say it, I think the board thinks they work for the director. So I'm probably not making fans by saying that, but that is how quite a few parents and teachers feel, and I don't feel that way. So I think it's time for a change in Wilson County, and I think it's time for somebody that speaks up for the people that voted them in.
All right, you were talking about the budget here. Of course, we are a growing area, and it's almost like we haven't been able to hardly build schools fast enough. We've got, as we can increase in population, there'll be more schools to build. The Board of Education, Director of Schools, is dependent upon the County Commission for the funding. And you mentioned a few minutes ago, alluded to the fact that you thought maybe the County Commission was maybe a little bit turned off by some of the actions here, maybe the request for money and this sort of thing. What can you do about that if you're elected to this position? What would be your role here in trying to secure what's needed from the County Commission at the same time doing it the best way?
I feel like it's really, really important to develop a good relationship with all governing bodies, including the County Commission. And I think one way of doing that is to show that we are willing to make some cuts before we go asking for money. The County Commission does not have a bottomless fund, especially right now, given a pandemic and everything else. And most voters are not going to vote for an increase in property tax, given they're worried about putting food on the table. I also mentioned, I work with the geriatric population, so I worry about if we continue to increase property taxes, are we pricing our elderly population out of the community that they built? Because growth doesn't sustain itself. So, they want to stay in their family home. We increase their property taxes. They're on a fixed income. They can't afford that increase. So I'm very concerned about continued increase in property taxes. So, I would advocate for looking again at impact taxes. But I think just open communication with the County Commission and really listening to their suggestions as well. What did they suggest that we do? I would also like to work with the Planning Commission. I feel like sometimes we've got all these different departments and it's like an octopus, all these different arms working in different directions. With the Planning Department, we've got another 800 homes going in off of 109. Our roads can't support that. Our schools can't support that. And I'm not quite sure why we think we're ready for that, because we're not. We just lost 2 schools to a tornado. We lost buses, which I think that they're almost replaced. We're not ready for that. We need schools down 109, that is in Wilson County again. So, but I look forward to developing a relationship with the County Commission. And, something we talked about on the break is I don't always agree with everybody's decision, but I'm able to work with anybody. And that's, I say often that I'm a nurse, but that's my experience. So that's what I draw from. I'm used to caring for everybody. I've cared for prisoners while they're in, police custody, and they're not always very nice, but I can care for them with compassion. So even if it's somebody I disagree with, I'm very capable of working with somebody in a very professional manner.
Need a short answer here, but
Sure.
do you think, and then we're going to let you wrap it up, do you feel the Board of Education, the 7 school board members should be more meticulous about the school budget, where money is spent, and
Absolutely.
especially personnel that are hired and so on.
Absolutely. I think that this is not just free money. I mean, this is hard-earned money by the citizens of Wilson County, and we need to really pay attention to where it's spent. It needs to be spent on our students, but we need to make sure that, we don't have just endless funds. We have to have creative solutions. Thankfully, that's going to serve me well. Being a case manager, that's what I do, is come up with creative solutions. But being a public school system, we're always going to be short on funds. So we have to make every penny stretch. So,
all right, we've got about a minute and a half for you to wrap things up here. Tell us why you think the people who live in Zone 7 should elect you, Jamie Farrow, as their next school board member.
I'd like to be the next school board member for Zone 7 because I think I would be a great advocate for parents, teachers, and students, and I would be thankful if you'd vote for me on August 6th.
All right, that is a short wrap-up, but we appreciate you being with us this morning. We will be doing election returns the evening of August 6th, so you're invited to be a part of that, win, lose, or draw.
Thank you.
And we do thank you for coming out this morning.
Thank
I
you
might
for
point
having me.
out that there are two other candidates for this position. We'll have the other challenger tomorrow, and then on Friday we'll have the incumbent. And you got to get it all started off this morning.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you being with us this morning. Jamie Farrow, candidate for Zone 7 for the school board. And that is going to do it for today. It's been a wonderful Wednesday so far, and I hope it's going to stay that way. And we've got time to once again just invite you to join us tomorrow for the Thursday edition of Coleman and Company. And until then, I wish you a wonderful day.